Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All right, all kids, Isa, move over there. Everyone be quiet now, especially during the talk. Nobody speak. Ibrahim, that's the first and the last time, okay? Just move a little bit over there, yeah. And the kids in the back, just move forward. Ibrahim, sit on this side. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين والعاقبة للمتقين أما بعد. The topic of today's story, yes, very good, Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salatu wassalam. If you guys would remember, actually who remember, a long time ago, a few months ago, we talked about his father. Who is the father of Sulaiman alayhi salam? Raise your hand if you know the answer. Yes, Mahir. Very good, Dawood alayhi salam. And we discussed Dawood alayhi salatu wassalam's story a while back. Who remembers the highlight of the story of Dawood alayhi salam? Raise your hand. So I just want to know how many people remember the story of Dawood alayhi salam. Just a few main points. Only one person, Sheikh Akif, two people, okay, 3, all right, that's good. That's pretty good. I'm going to quickly recap so we could talk about Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. We know Dawood alayhi salam, he was a very young boy when he joined the army of Talut. And Talut was a very good king of the Israelites. And so they went on to fight against the Goliath, the Jalut and his people. In the end, it was decided that one man will go and duel and fight solo with Jalut, with Goliath. So Dawood alayhi salam was a very young boy at the time. He volunteered. He said, you know what, let me go and I will fight Goliath personally. So Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam, as a young child, he went and he defeated Goliath with a slingshot. The rock hit him right in the square and on the forehead. He died immediately. And because of that, Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam, later on, he became a king after Talut, righteous king. And we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Dawood alayhi salam a prophet. He's a prophet. He's a king on top of that. And also, he received a book from Allah. Raise your hand. Which book Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam was given? Moinuddin. Why weren't you? Is my question. Musa. Shh, Musa, go ahead. Very good. Zabur, Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam was given. And on top of that, Dawood alayhi salam had a few miracles as well. I need you guys to name me one miracle of Dawood alayhi salam. Raise your hand if you can name me one miracle of Dawood alayhi salam. Nobody knows any miracle of Dawood alayhi salam? Adhan. No. Akif. No. All right, we need to invite some big guns. Go ahead, Ibrahim. Very good. That's one of the, whenever he would recite Zabur, the same way as we recite the Quran, and he's reciting Zabur, and the mountains and the birds would join in to listen to the recitation of Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam. Such beautiful voice he had. And on top of that, another miracle he was given. And that was because he made dua to Allah that, oh Allah, even though I am the king, but I do not wish to take money from the state. I wish to earn my money by myself. So Allah granted him this miracle. Whenever he would grab hold of anything metal, it would become as soft like wax for him. He could mold the metal however he wants. He could give the shape to the metal, and the metal would bend to the will of Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam. So he used to make armor. Remember the old armors people used to wear? The armor, he used to make those for the people and sell them. That's how he used to live and earn money. So that was Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam. And so Allah gave Dawood alayhi salam a son, a very great, intelligent son, who he named Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. And remember, Dawood alayhi salam was a prophet, he was a messenger, and on top of that, he was a king. So he had both. He had both this world and the hereafter. He's a prophet and he's a king. And Sulaiman alayhi salam is growing up. He's a very intelligent young man, and he's showing all of the great qualities of being the next prophet. Kids in the back. So one incident happened in his life. Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam loved horses, war horses, that is used in jihad, that is used in the fighting in the path of Allah. So he was taking care of all of these horses. One day what happened is that as he's taking care of the horses, he's making sure each and every one of them has water, has food, and he's taking care of him. And the time of prayer almost passed because he was so busy in taking care of the horses that the time of prayer almost passed. And so he immediately realized, oh, I'm so busy in taking care of the horses and the time of prayer is almost gone. So he makes this dua to Allah. He said, oh Allah, I love these horses so much, but I will now slaughter them for your sake. The same way as the goat and the sheep is slaughtered, the chicken is slaughtered. So what he did, he slaughtered all of the horses, because in his sharia, in his time, horse meat was halal. The same way as we eat chicken, we eat beef. So horse meat in his time was also halal. So he slaughtered all of them, and then he invited people over and he gave it away. And upon this, he made this dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, oh Allah, never again I want to experience similar situation that I am so busy taking care of stuff that I would miss my prayer. So he makes dua to Allah. Rabbi habli mulkal la yanbaghi li ahadim min ba'di innaka antal wahhab. The Hafiz kids, tell me which juz is this ayah from. قال رب هب لي ملكا لا ينبغي لأحد من بعدي إنك أنت الوهاب. Juz 16th? No. Anybody here that's actually doing hifz, raise your hand. I know that guy Ibrahim is doing. You are doing hifz? You're not on that yet? Okay, that's fine. It's in 23rd juz. In Surah Sad. So he's making this dua to Allah. He said, oh Allah, grant me such kingdom that you would not grant to anybody before me or anybody after me. Such great kingdom. So Allah says, we accepted the dua of Sulaiman alayhi salam. And so Allah granted him such kingdom that nobody before or after him received. Allah says, فَسَخَّرْنَا لَهُ الرِّيحَ. What it means that we gave him power over the wind itself. We gave him power over the jinn. We gave him power over the animals. Everybody is working for Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, whenever he needs to travel long distances, he don't need to travel on horses, on carriages, or whatever was mode of transportation at the time. All he would do is command the wind. Wind, take us there. So he would travel the distance that normally people would travel 1 month, 2 months, and the wind would take in a few hours. The same way as we ride the wind as well when we go from one airport to another. The plane is riding the wind, and we travel the distance of thousands of miles in a few hours. So Sulaiman alayhi salam, at that time, thousands of years ago, he had an airplane of his own. He would just command the wind take all of us. So wind would just pick them all up, pick the platform they were on, the throne they were on, and they would go. Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. And we find in his story that how grateful to Allah is. Now we know Sulaiman alayhi salam has everything in this world. It is his to command. And so an incident happened. I'm sure most of the kids here are aware of the incident of the ant. Are you guys aware? Naml. Yes. Naml means ant. So Sulaiman alayhi salam is walking and he's riding along with all of his minister, his army. And in front of him is a valley, and there are a lot of ants in it. So one ant, the queen ant, she calls out to the rest of her people, that, oh people, hurry and hide inside your holes, because Sulaiman is coming and his army, and they might just trample upon you, and he wouldn't even know that all of you are dead. Sulaiman alayhi salam, of course, he was granted this miracle. He could understand the language of all creations. He could understand the language of jinn, understand the language of birds and also the insects. So he heard what the ant is saying, hurry, hurry, hide, Sulaiman is coming. And so upon this, فَتَبَسَّمَ ضَاحِكًا مِّن قَوْلِهَا. Sulaiman alayhi salam, he smiled. And immediately he said, "Oh Allah, empower me, grant me the words through which I could be grateful to you. That what great miracles you have granted me. That I could understand even the speech of these insects. That how they're scurrying to hide inside so that they would not be killed by the army of Sulaiman alayhi salam. They would just trample, walk upon them." And so, Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam had jinns in his army, he had birds in his army, and the birds used to scout for him. That the birds would go far away to find if there is any kingdom that is not following Allah. Maybe they're worshipping some other idols, maybe they're worshipping the stars, whatever. So one day, as he's standing in front of his army, he looks, he says, "You know what? That one bird is missing." Look at the intelligence of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. That out of thousands of people that are under his command, immediately he notices that one little bird is missing. And his bird's name was Hudhud, or rather it was Hudhud. So Sulaiman alayhi salam said, "Where's Hudhud? Like, what's up with him?" He said that if Hudhud does not have a valid reason to be absent, and for him to be late, so when he returns, I will either punish him or just slaughter him. So a while later, a few hours later, Hudhud comes back. And Sulaiman immediately calls him, "Hudhud, bird, where you've been? Do you not see that everybody is present without being late except for you?" Hudhud said, "O king, O prophet of Allah, the thing is that I was scouting for you, that I traveled to a land far away, and that land was the land of Yemen." He said, "In there I saw a great throne, and upon that great throne was a queen ruling over her people. And I saw them, and it baffled me that they are worshipping the sun, and they have abandoned worshipping Allah. They're not worshipping Allah. They are doing sajda to the sun." And the bird could not understand, it could not comprehend that how could any creation of Allah worship something other than Allah? How could they worship the sun? And so he is giving this report to Sulaiman alayhi salam. Sulaiman alayhi salam said, "You know what? You need to bring proof that you actually found such a country in which people are worshipping the sun and not Allah." So Sulaiman alayhi salam writes a letter and he gives it to the bird. He said, "Take the letter and deliver it to that queen and bring me the answer." See what she does. So Hudhud takes the letter, he flies straight into her castle, and then he drops the letter in her room, and then he goes outside. The queen enters her chambers and she sees a letter lying on her bed. Now immediately she's like, how could anybody bypass all of the security, all of the guards, and drop a letter right in my own room? How could this be possible? She picks up the letter and it is from Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. She immediately calls her council, the ministers, the meeting, everybody important. And she says, "Oh my people, oh my chiefs, I have received a letter from someone named Sulaiman. Innahu min Sulaimana." This letter is from Sulaiman, and he has begun his letter by saying, "Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim," which means I begin with the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. And then she said, "Allah ta'alu alayya wa'tuni muslimin." It means Sulaiman alayhi salam, he is commanding us that we let go of our arrogance and we go to him in full submission, that we become Muslims and we go to him. This is what he's commanding us to do. So, "Oh my chiefs, tell me, what should we do? Should we act upon this letter and go to him as Muslims, or should we stay here and resist?" So the chiefs, the ministers, they said, "Our queen, نحن أولو قوة وأولو بأس شديد." It means that we are very strong. We have a very powerful military. If you want, we can fight against Sulaiman and we might win because we are very strong people. But in the end, decision lies on you. Whatever you say, we will follow. And this is where the point is. And this is what we keep on discussing here as well. That this queen was very wise and intelligent. If we look at the stories of the prophets that we listen to here, we will see that every single king that a prophet goes to invite to Islam, they would reject, they would show arrogance, they would try to disgrace the prophet. For example, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Who did he have to give da'wah? Who did he have to face? Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Raise your hand. Idris. Fir'aun. Did Fir'aun accept? No. He said no. He was arrogant. He says, I am God. I am Rabb. Who are you, Musa? Ibrahim alayhi salam. Anybody know which king he invited to Islam? The name of the king? We have one hand raised. We have two hands. Yes, Shaykh Idris. Very good. Namrud was the king. Did Namrud accept the da'wah? No. Namrud said, no, I am God. I am Rabb. Who are you? So we see that every single prophet, as they are inviting other people to Islam, other kings to Islam, they are rejecting. They are making fun of them. But this queen, she was not like that. She was very smart and intelligent. She said, we're not going to reject Sulaiman like that. إِنَّ الْمُلُوكَ إِذَا دَخَلُوا قَرْيَةً أَفْسَدُوهَا. The thing is, when these mighty kings, when they invade and attack a country, they completely destroy it. What if Sulaiman attacks us, alayhi salatu wasalam, and we are defeated? What will happen to our people? But we're not going to believe the words of Sulaiman alayhi salam just like that. I wish to test him. So she prepares a lot of expensive gifts. And she said, take these gifts to Sulaiman and see how he reacts. But if he's after money, then he'll just take the gift and we'll be fine. And we'll know that he's no prophet of Allah. He's just somebody after money. But if he rejects, then we'd know he's not after the money. He wants us to accept Islam. So this man, the delegation, they leave the city and they arrive at the court of Sulaiman alayhi salam, bringing expensive gifts. Imagine in our times, all of these cars and whatever. Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, the moment he sees the gifts, immediately he becomes angry. He said, do you wish to bribe me? And do you wish to support me with this wealth? What Allah has given me, the wealth that He has given me, the power that He has given me is far, far greater than whatever gifts you're bringing. Return. And if you do not come to us in submission as Muslims, then I will come after you with such forces, with such a strong army, that you would not be able to resist and fight back, and you will be destroyed. Sulaiman said to her. And then as this man, the messenger, he leaves and goes back to the queen, Sulaiman والسلام, immediately realizes that now she, the queen, and her people will arrive as Muslims. She would no longer try to fight back. But he wished to show her some of his miracles. He's sitting in a court as a king on his throne, and in front of him are all of his ministers, wazirs, whatever. He said to them, who among you has the ability to bring me her throne? And remember, when Hudhud the bird first scouted the city, the one thing he noticed was the giant throne upon which the queen was sitting. And he came back to report Sulaiman that I saw her on her huge throne, fully embedded with diamonds and silver and gold, all sorts of jewelry decorating the throne. And that was a huge giant throne. So Sulaiman is now asking his ministers that which one of you can bring me her throne before she gets here. قَالَ عِفْرِيتٌ مِّنَ الْجِنِّ. A mighty jinn stands up. And he said, O king, I have the ability to bring that throne before you could stand up from your seat. Imagine how fast. Sulaiman والسلام, he looks around, he's indicating that is there anybody who can do faster? قَالَ الَّذِي عِنْدَهُ عِلْمٌ مِّنَ الْكِتَابِ. Now this is not a jinn, a human being who was a minister of Sulaiman alayhi salam. And he was somebody who had the knowledge of Tawrat and Zabur. He was a very pious man, very good man, very close to Allah. He stands up and he said, O king, I can bring her throne to you before you could even blink your eye. Imagine that. And this is not a jinn that's asking. And this is just a very pious, righteous man. Sulaiman alayhi salam said, go ahead, bring it to me. And so he makes dua to Allah, and this karamat, kind of like a minor miracle, happens through the hands of this man. And lo and behold, the throne of the Queen of Sheba is right there in front of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. The moment he sees that, immediately Sulaiman alayhi salam once more prostrates to Allah, and he is grateful to Allah. He said, لِيَبْلُوَنِي أَأَشْكُرُ أَمْ أَكْفُرُ, that Allah is testing me, that if I remain grateful to Him or I become arrogant. Look at the power. And so immediately he's thankful to Allah. Some time passed, and the queen arrived. But before she arrived, Sulaiman alayhi salam said, I wish to test the queen now, see how high her intelligence is. He said to his people, completely rearrange the patterns of the throne, completely change it, renovate it. And so they did. They completely changed the patterns and the jewelry, whatever was on the throne. They completely changed it. So when the queen arrived, Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam brought her to the throne. And he said, do you know this throne? Do you recognize it? Queen looks at the throne one time and she said, كَأَنَّهُ هُ. It means that it is exactly my throne. Immediately she recognized, كَأَنَّهُ هُ. Exactly, this is my throne. وَأُوتِينَا الْعِلْمَ مِنْ قَبْلِهَا. And we were granted knowledge before coming here, and we have come as Muslims. We know you are a prophet of God. We know you are the Rasul of Allah. You are the Sulaiman, the king and the prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَصَدَّهَا مَا كَانَ تَعْبُدُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. The meaning of that is, the reason she worshipped the sun before that, because that was the environment she grew up in. Her family were disbelievers, they were kafirin. Her whole nation worshipped the sun, and so she worshipped whatever her nation was worshipping. The true da'wah, the true invitation of Islam never reached her. But now that Sulaiman alayhi salam has called her to Islam, she accepted Islam. One more thing happened. Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, again to show her one of his miracles, he commanded the jinn to build a castle made out of pure crystals, such that no other castle was ever created and constructed as beautifully as that one. The entire castle was made out of crystals, and it will reflect the sunlight to such a degree that people would think it's just water. It was not water, it was crystals. So he brought her to that castle. And the moment she saw that the crystal floor, she thought it's a lake. So she uncovered her lower garment, as we do to walk through the water, but then she stepped on it and realized this is not water. This is something completely alien at that time. How could anybody construct a building as majestic and beautiful as this one? Completely made out of these stunning crystals. Immediately she said, Rabbi inni zalamtu nafsi wa aslamtu ma'a Sulaymana lillahi rabbil alameen. That, oh my Rabb, oh my Allah, I was wrong before. And this is very important. Whenever we do something wrong, immediately what we have to do is talk to Allah, speak with Allah, and admit to our mistake. Never say, I'm not wrong. It's the other guy who's wrong. It's my brother who's wrong. It's my mother who's wrong. It's my father who's wrong. No. Whoever. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us through her. The Rabbi inni zalamtu nafsi. She immediately said, oh Allah, I was wrong. We used to worship sun while we had no knowledge about Allah. But now that I know, aslamtu ma'a Sulaiman lillahi rabbil alameen. I have accepted Islam at the hands of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. And so she became a Muslimah after that. This is so like how intelligent she is. Every single king that the previous prophets had to deal with, they were all arrogant. Not a single one of them accepted Islam. Not a single one of them even tried to think that what it is they're doing, except for this one queen. She understood, realized her mistakes. She tried to test Sulaiman ﷺ first, if he's a real deal or not. And immediately she realized he's a true prophet of Allah. And so she came with submission, with Islam, and she became a Muslimah. And she was from the Yemen. Now I will ask a few questions from you guys. Raise your hand if you know the answer. Who did Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam have to fight? Raise your hand if you know the answer. Let's see. Isa. Very good. Jalut. In English, he's called Goliath. Very good. No. So, all right, next question. Name me a miracle of Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam. What's your name? Isa. Yes, go ahead. No, I'm talking about Dawood alayhi salam. Hassan. Very good. That was one of his miracles. Who can tell me why was this miracle granted to Dawood alayhi salam, that he could turn metal soft like wax? Yes. What? To make money out of it? I don't think that's what I said. Hashir? To make armor? Akif? Heavy? No. Yes, Ramiz. Now that was not the reason he wanted to do that, because he didn't want to take any money from the state, from anybody else. He didn't want to take money from the treasury, from Baytul Mal. So he said, I would work myself to earn. And I wouldn't take anything from the treasury of the Muslims. That was the reason. What other miracle he had? Mahir. Dawood alayhi salam. Very good, very good. So he had a very beautiful voice. Okay, Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. What dua did he make to Allah? Muinuddin. No? Ibrahim. Castle? Castle? Very good. So what was the kingdom of Sulaiman alayhi salam? Easiest question. What was his kingdom? Who did he have power over? Ahmed. The castle? No. Azhan, go ahead. Very good. Control over the wind. Very good. What happened? Musab, don't do it. So what happened before he made this dua? What incident happened before he made this dua? Are you raising your hand? You're thinking about raising your hand? You're thinking? All right, Musa. Very good. Very good. Yeah, he almost missed his prayer, and so he made dua to Allah. Allah grant me a kingdom that I don't have to take care of them, the horses and whatever. Very good. So Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, what did he find one day as he is looking through his army? What did Sulaiman alayhi salam find as he's looking through his army one day? Ramiz. What was the name of the bird? Very good. What was the reason that Hudhud was missing? What's your name? Yusuf, go ahead. New town? What was happening in that town? Very good. And where was that city or country located? Isa? Yes, you. Yeah. Very good. Yemen. So when Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam wrote the queen the letter, how did he begin the letter? Sheikh Abdul Muiz. Say it full. Very good. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. How was the queen? What was her attitude when she read the letter? I want somebody who has not answered yet. Yes, you have. Nobody? All right, raise your hand if you know the answer to it. Adhan, go ahead. Mahir, go ahead.
So as soon as she read it, she called her chiefs, like the ministers and all the other important people, and she told all of them that Sulaiman like started the message with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and then after that she told them about like if they didn't accept Islam.
Very good. All right. Just stop there. Very good. One last question. Raise your hand if you know the answer. What did Sulaiman alayhi salam say to his ministers once he sent back the person who brought him the gifts? Who said that? Did you say that? Don't ever say that again. All right. So what did he say to his chiefs? Yes. The little guy. Yes, you. All right, who knows the answer? Hamdan. Yes. No. That's not what he immediately said. Ibrahim. So once the man who brought him gifts, he returned, what did Sulaiman alayhi salam say to his ministers? Very good. Who can bring the throne? Very good. Knowledge of. Very good. Very good. All right, everyone, repeat after me. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.